Welcome back, dear listeners. And if you're new here, welcome to the Narratrix community. This is a place where stories aren't just told, they live in you. Tonight we step into a therapy room unlike any other. You'll hear a therapist who adores his work, not for the power, but for the privilege of walking inside other people's worlds. But his newest client is no ordinary patient. She's an astronaut. He thought she would take him to the stars, but what she brought back down to Earth will take them both, and now us, somewhere no therapist has ever been before. Listen closely, because in this room, silence itself has teeth. I love this work. That's not performative sincerity. I mean it in ways that still surprise me. Most jobs shrink themselves into repeatable motions. This one refuses to be small. I walk into a room and for 50 minutes, I get to touch the current running beneath another human life. I've learned how violinists carry grief in their wrists, how bakers grieve in the mornings, how plumbers keep diaries they'll never show anyone, the way investment bankers cry only once the printer jams. It's all here. It's all allowed. So when I saw the new client form, name withheld by request, occupation astronaut, I felt a child's spark. I let myself imagine she'd bring something starry in, a little light that would stick to my palms, a selfish thought perhaps, the fantasy of travelling without leaving the chair. I didn't know then that I'd get exactly what I wanted. I didn't know what that would cost. It was a winter evening, the city outside already dark by 5 p.m. I tidied the cushions, ritual, superstition, and set 2 glasses of water on the low table. My lamplight is usually honey gentle, but that night it felt a touch too white, like office fluorescence. Maybe I was just nervous. Maybe the room knew before I did. I heard the chime on the ground floor and the soft steps up the stairs. I opened the door, ready with the usual, "Hi, please come in, take your time." She stood there with a wool hat pulled low, cheeks weather pink from the cold, the kind of fatigue you see in shift workers and grieving spouses. Her eyes were not tired exactly, more like anchored at a distant point behind my skull. "Take whatever chair you like," I said. "Would you like water?" She took the chair near the window, the one that reflects our faces like ghosts when the sky is black. She didn't remove her hat. She did remove her gloves. The hands beneath were small, knuckles chapped, a half-moon scar on the index finger. She cradled the glass without drinking. Therapists aren't immune to awe. I wanted to ask everything about launch and weightlessness and whether stars really prick the eyes. I didn't. One does not interrogate. One invites. "What name would you like me to use for you here?" "Just Maya. That's fine." "Welcome, Maya. What brought you in? What feels most pressing for you today?" "It's not the usual post-mission things," she said. "They have people for that. Debriefs, sleep protocols, reintegration. I'm doing those. They help a little. Mine isn't the stars. It's what's in between. The space between stars. No, between signals. She wasn't evasive, she was precise. Between signals. I nodded her on. Tell me about that. In training, you rehearse loss of signal until it's a lullaby. LOS. You respect the mute pieces of the world. You trust handovers. You trust the math. She looked out my window. Her reflection hovered, a faint double. On the far side, you go dark. No one hears you. That's expected. But quiet isn't empty. It's just not carrying us. Her fingers tightened around the glass. The first time, it was a draft. Air that wasn't there. What do you mean? I asked. I mean, I heard breathing inside my suit. Not mine. Your O2 gauge. Perfect. Normal. No leak, no drop. I ran diagnostics. Nothing. But her eyes shifted to the corner of the room, as if she were listening for footsteps in the wall. It took me a while to realize it was only there, in the blackout gaps, when the world wasn't sending, when no one was listening. Did it feel threatening? Familiar? Something your mind associated with comfort? Her laugh was quiet and humorless. I felt like being watched by someone who can't blink. It felt patient. What do you want from today? They said talk to someone, anchor, so I am. But I think what I really want is to put it somewhere else, to set it down. We can set things down together. That's part of this work. If you want, you can try. She nodded. Then unexpectedly she took off the wool hat. Her hair was cropped close, practical. A pale crescent of scar carved near the temple. The kind that asks no questions and answers none. She set the hat precisely on her knee. The lamp hummed. Or maybe it was the building. Or maybe I'd always had that hum and never noticed. Start anywhere. I used to think the void was lack. I learned it isn't. It's full of wait, full of listening. It's so good at listening. It makes you speak the way it needs to hear you. Where do you feel that right now? In my jaw, she said. In the hinge. As if the words want to open wider than my mouth knows how. Let's ease it. Close your eyes for a moment if that feels okay. Feel the chair against you, the ground under your feet. My voice is right here. You're in London. You're safe. You can open your eyes anytime. She complied. The breath she released fogged the window faintly, though the room wasn't cold. I glanced at the thermostat, 21 degrees, lived in warmth. Her exhale left a brief, perfect oval on the glass, and for a blink, I know what I saw. It held, as if the condensation remembered the shape longer than it should. What did you see out there that follows you here? I didn't see it. Seeing is a human comfort. This was prior to sight. Her hand flexed. The water in the glass trembled, only a little, the way buses make shelves tremble. I measured everything, she said softly. That was my job. Numbers cooperate. The thing between signals didn't. But it did arrange itself around us. Arrange how? Like a parent who scoops you up when you're sleeping so you won't wake. Gentle, efficient, terrifying. I think it learned my rhythms. It learned to breathe at the same time as me. Then just before. Before. So I would be relieved I wasn't alone. Just in time to learn I wasn't the one setting the tempo. That sounds like an intimacy you didn't consent to. She blinked, and for the first time, emotion rose. Not fear, grief. We were supposed to be 3. We were 2. I didn't ask where the third went. Some silences don't ask for questions. What do you carry for them? Everything I can, she said. And something I can't name. It's not heavy. Weight belongs to gravity. This presses differently, like a thought you didn't think but still have to finish. The second hand on my clock made a small hop, then another. Then it slid backward, 1 notch, as if it had reconsidered. I blinked. It kept time again. I've worked long enough to know when my mind improvises. I've also worked long enough to know when the room is participating. Maya, I want to check something practical. Since you returned, have you had auditory phenomena? Changes in sleep? Any neurochecks would have covered this, but I'd like your words. I sleep, but the middle of the night has a roof. I wake and feel taller than I am, and when the house is quiet, yes, it remembers me, she whispered. The quiet remembers me, and it wants me to remember it back. What would it mean to you not to be the only one remembering? She raised her eyes to mine. It would mean I'm not alone when I open my mouth, she said. That I won't be the only host. Host is your word. It's the right one. I had wanted the stars. I wanted to be near their clean, bright certainty, the metals and the math, the myth. I wanted to be impressed and safe, you know the feeling, the museum feeling. But she had brought a living thing that wasn't a thing, a habit of the in-between, a presence knitted from absence. If what followed you is looking for a new rhythm, we need to be careful. We don't hand over the metronome. We learn its beat without letting it lead your body. Can we try something together? She nodded. Good. We're going to speak on a count, slow. I'll set it. You speak when I mark the beat. If something else tries to get there first, we notice, we wait, and we don't let it decide. 1, 2. She inhaled with me. Say, I'm here, I whispered. She parted her lips. On the glass behind her, our reflections flickered. She began. And then I heard it. Not a voice, not a thought. A breath on the far side of hers, completing the vowel before she did, making the M land harder. I'm here, she finished too precisely. Again, I said, voice steady. I heard it again. Not mine, not hers. In the hinge of the jaw, like she'd warned me. A rehearsal ahead of time. Stop, I said gently. We're not going to fight you. We're going to become boring to you. She met my eyes, startled into a small laugh. Boring. Predators and persistent phenomena both move towards novelty. We'll take it away. We'll choose dull, human rhythm. We'll be kitchen clock. We did it again, slower. We chose ordinary phrases. The kettle boiled. The cat is sleeping. My keys are in the bowl. Each time, the anticipatory breath came a hair sooner. Like an eager student, like a tap on the shoulder from the dark. But after a while, 5 minutes, 10, something loosened. The pre-breath missed a cue. Her mouth moved and the thing tripped over the step. We kept going until my own jaw ached. There. Feel that? She nodded, eyes wet. A gap. Yes. Your gap. Your choice. The room cooled then. Not the thermostat, not the winter. A draft that wasn't air. My lamplight thinned, as if the bulb had moved 2 inches further away. The window reflection, ours, did something impossible. The version of me in the glass leaned forward to speak before my body did. I went still. In stillness, everything reveals itself. Maya, I said, do you feel that? She nodded once. It doesn't want gaps. No, I agreed. It wants continuity. It wants to hold you without your permission. It wants to give you what you wanted, she said, voice gone distant. You wanted to go to space, through me. My mouth dried. I wanted to learn about your world, I said carefully. You wanted to be in it, she corrected, and there was no malice in it, only accuracy. That's okay. Wanting is human. She set the glass down. The tiny tremor of the surface steadied immediately, as if someone had switched a machine off. How do we keep you safe? I asked. She looked at my chair, at my lamp, at my window where the reflection had resumed obeying. She spoke to me the way I sometimes speak to patients when I need them to hear a hard thing. We don't, she said. I can't be anchor and vessel, she went on. I tried. It wants a shore and a boat. I've been both since I came home. I can't be both anymore. Maya, listen to me. I am, she said gently. I've been listening for months. It's very good at listening. It taught me. But you're better at keeping. That's your work, isn't it? You keep people's worst things without letting them dilute. Her gaze softened. I'm not trying to hurt you. I believed her. That was the worst part. What you're describing is a transference of threat. I won't consent to harm for either of us. There are other ways to set it down. We can use more than language, movement, ritual. We can... She smiled at that word, ritual. Yes, I said. People forget that what we do here, together, is very old. We mark beginnings and endings. We open and close. It likes openings, she whispered. It's made one out of me. And now we will close, I said. We will end cleanly. I asked her to place both feet firmly on the floor. We matched our hands to our chests, counted 3 heartbeats. When you exhale, you will picture your body as a house, I said. Choose a room that's yours alone. Shut the door gently. Lock it if you want. She nodded, eyes closed. Say, my breath belongs to me, she began, and I felt it. Not in her, in me. A pressure at the back of my soft palate, the body's quiet hinge, the impulse to widen, to let something larger use my mouth as a doorway. It was so polite, so close to my own intention, I could have mistaken it for mine. I swallowed. It waited with exquisite patience. Maya, I said, and my voice came out double for a syllable like a chorus. Do you hear that? She opened her eyes, saw my face. Something like pity crossed hers. It was always going to like you, she said softly. You listen the way it does. This room is not a surrender, I said. It's a boundary. It isn't a wall to it, she murmured. It's a shape. Shapes help, I countered, even to very old things. I moved the glass of water to the centre of the table. Old trick, I said, half to her, half to myself. We give it a body briefly. We let it see itself, then we let it go. I don't know if I believed that. I wanted to. Belief is a tool. I'm going to speak 3 sentences. After each one, breathe out and watch the water. Don't look away. She nodded. 1. What is between is still something. We exhaled. The surface of the water ruffled physics small, the kind a breath should cause. 2. It may not use our mouths without our permission. We exhaled. The surface fluttered a little faster than breath. A ripple skittered to the rim and back. The lamp dimmed, brightened. 3. It cannot learn us faster than we learn it. We exhaled. The glass shivered. Just once, a delicate ring of sound. My window reflection lagged by half a blink, then caught up. The pressure in my palate eased, a thread loosened. Maya inhaled, shaky, and for the first time since she'd arrived, she smiled with her whole face. It made her look young. Okay, I whispered. Okay. And then the building made a sound I have never heard it make. The stairwell settled, or the boiler coughed, or the bones of the place remembered a weight. The walls spoke in the language of old wood. My lamp buzzed into a steady, unwavering note, and my lungs, filled with something that was not air. It wasn't choking. Choking is frantic. This was exact, a presence pressing inside the breath, as if the empty spaces in the oxygen had been replaced by a shape. I was still breathing, but what sat on each breath leaned forward to meet me. Maya, I know, she said quietly. Her eyes were wet again. It likes you. It can like me without living in me, I managed. The water glass rang again, faintly. In the window, our doubles turned their heads a fraction before we did. Maya stood. She was very gentle, as if approaching a skittish animal, me. She touched the edge of the table. Her fingers didn't quite brush the glass. You said we open and close, she murmured. Let me close, please. I don't want to hold this anymore. The pressure in my mouth smiled. I felt it. How do you describe the way a silence smiles? The way absence becomes inviting? If there must be a place for it, I said, we will not make it a person. Then what? She asked. I didn't have a good answer. The tools we have are human. Words, breath, ritual, symbol. I had nothing grand, nothing cosmic. Only the old practice of taking the thing no one else will carry, keeping it and not dying. And hadn't I wanted to go to space? I'm afraid, I said. I know, she said. Me too. Will you, if we do this, will you be able to sleep? She closed her eyes. For the first time since the far side. You're not giving me the void, I said. You're giving me a habit, a rhythm. I can carry rhythms. She opened her eyes. You shouldn't have to. No, I agreed. But I can. Sit, I said. Face me. We sat knee to knee, close enough that the world narrowed to the little table and our breath. This isn't a ritual you learned, she said, a small tremor of humour. No, I said, it's improvisation. Improvisation is risky in space. We're not in space, I lied. On my inhale, I said, you say, return what is mine. On my exhale, I say, release what is not. We do this 3 times, then we drink the water, then I open the window, we let the night carry the rest. It will still remember, she warned softly. That's what the night is for, I said, to remember the things we can't. I inhaled. She said, return what is mine. I exhaled. I said, release what is not. Again. Return what is mine. Release what is not. Again. And the third inhale found me. It pressed so neatly against my breath that I almost wept at its intimacy. It knew the shape of me already, the way a song learns your throat. It did not rush or rant. It nestled like a perfectly fitting word. Return what is mine, Maya whispered, and her shoulders lowered, the way people lower after putting down a heavy bag. Release what is not, I said, and the not air in my lungs did not leave. It simply ceased pretending to be separate. We drank. The water tasted like nothing at all. The best water often does. I stood, opened the latch, lifted the sash. The winter night put its hand on my face. Soundless traffic, impossible stars behind cloud. A darkness that was mostly London, and a little bit everything else. Maya stood too. She put on her hat. She breathed, and her breath fogged the glass exactly as breath should. and faded in the right time. How is your jaw? She moved it side by side, surprised. Quieter, like waking from a dream. I nodded. I did not tell her that my jaw had learned a new stretch, that the soft palate had discovered a shape it liked. She looked at me as if she knew anyway. This is the end of our time today, I said. If you like, we can book another session. I think... Not yet, she said. I want to see if sleep knows me again. Okay. She reached into her coat, took out a small plastic card, not unlike a luggage tag. She held it out. They gave us these at the ceremony, she said. It's nothing, a keepsake. I don't want keepsakes. I took it because I take things, because that is sometimes the only holy act I know. After she left, I stood by the open window until my fingers ached with cold. The room felt enormous, as if the corners had moved away. The water glass was empty. The clock kept time like a good soldier. You want to know what happened next? I washed the glass. I wiped the table. I wrote my notes carefully in the neutral language that keep the wolves away. And then, in the quiet of the empty clinic, something practiced its breathing in my mouth. It is not cruel. It is not kind. It is a rhythm with immaculate manners. It waits for me to speak and then kindly gets there first. I learned its patience. It learned mine. We are very good at listening to each other, the two of us, the three if you count the night. I still love this work, maybe more. Love is not innocence. It's choosing the keeping. If you ever sit in this chair, you won't notice it. That's my promise. That's my craft. You'll feel held, not hollowed. But when the hour ends and I open the window and the city puts its hand on my face, I look up into cloud and I know I got what I once wanted. I go for a little while where I cannot be heard. And I come back with something between my teeth that isn't a word. I don't spit it out, not yet. Some nights it sets the tempo and I follow. Some nights I count aloud. Kitchen clock, boring human, and it slows its eager breath to match mine. This is how you live with a thing that isn't a thing. You give it rhythm, and you do not give it your name. I am here. I am here. I am. That was tonight's session. If you're new here, welcome once again to the Narratrix of Nightmares family. These stories exist because you do. And if you've been here before, you know, not every tale comes to scare you. Some arrive to change you, to give you something you didn't know you carried. Tonight we followed a therapist who wanted to touch the stars, only to learn that the void touches back. The question now is simple, but it lingers like a breath on the glass. When you listen too closely to the silence, does it begin to listen back?